Hi everyone, I'm Shelly and you're watching There's No Place Like Home. I'm back with another Question the Narrative video, and today's topic is the curious conception of Augustus Caesar. I actually came across this information as I was doing research about the Roman Empire as I was learning about preterism. And I realized that Augustus Caesar was before the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD. But somehow or other, it ended up in my feed, and I found this to be extremely interesting. Augustus was rumored to be the son of Apollo. Augustus's family was one of several that claimed to have divine blood. His own Julie clan believed their lineage traced back to the goddess Venus or Aphrodite. In addition, Julius Caesar, Augustus's great uncle and adoptive father, was posthumously declared a god by the Senate in 42 BCE. As if this godly pedigree was not divine enough, Augustus or his propagandists also began to spread rumors that he was actually a son of Apollo. So they call it propagandists or spreading rumors, but sometimes you have to wonder how much truth might actually be hidden in what they call rumors. And it is very common for royal lineages to proclaim that they are semi-divine beings. And it's not new. It's something that has always occurred. So you have the pharaohs of Egypt who proclaimed that they were descendants of Ra or possibly some other Egyptian gods. You have people like Augustus who claimed to be the son of Apollo, and Julius Caesar's descendants who claimed to be the descendants of Venus or Aphrodite. You even have many other European noble bloodlines that claim to be descended from other gods. And there are some of them, the Merovingian dynasty in Europe, they actually claim to be descendants of Jesus themselves, which Jesus did not have children, so you can't really be a descendant of him. But I've just started reading Gary Wayne's Genesis 6 Conspiracy Part 2 book. And so what I read a couple of days ago just reminds me of what we're talking about here with these royal bloodlines always claiming to be related to the gods or to be outright to be their children. It says the Ugaritic texts. Now I have to say Ugaritic texts, they are texts that were written by, they were a Semitic tribe. Some people associate it with one of the Amorite tribes. And there are some theories that the Amorites were part of the Rephaim. So they were descendants of the Nephilim, hence descendants of the Watchers. So anyway, the Ugaritic texts recorded several demigod kings, their dynastic bloodlines, and their eponymiously named tribes. These demigod kings were described as hero-like healers and saviors. The Repu Rephaim, like Keret and Ditanu Dedanu, which to me that sounds a lot like Tua Dedanin, that were closely related to the Rephaim who sat in the august assembly of Ditan. The Ditan or Dedanu, again, Tua Dedanin, it keeps ringing in my head, spelled DDN in ancient Semitic, were eponymous ancestors for the Ugaritic royal lines and a blessing to come in a future Rapiu. Contrariwise, some Western occult organizations note that the Nephilim were the elven sons of the Anunnaki watchers and human women, whereby the Nephilim thereafter interbred also with human females that produced the Nephidim. The Nephidim were considered half-breeds, part human and part Nephilim or Rephaim, and lesser beings to the elven Nephilim Rephaim. Even though the Nephilim would be and should also be described as hybrid beings, produced as spurious offspring of fallen angels and humans. One wonders if the occult rendering Nephilim hybrids were named as such to honor their genealogical godfathers via the Nephilim and Rephaim, also known as the Nephidim in the Book of Jubilees. All these similar sounding names, it gets a little bit confusing. But I just found that to be really interesting because there it also is talking in the Ugaritic texts about the same thing, that these kings, these royal figures were all claiming to be descendants of either the Nephilim, which, yes, are very much hybrid beings, or they were claiming to be descendants of the Watchers themselves, aka the fallen angels. So we're going to look in just a bit about who Apollo is, but let's just read this. The biographer Suetonius wrote about this divine origin story in the section on Augustus from his work, The 12 Caesars. According to the tale, Augustus's mother, Atia, went to a midnight service at a temple of Apollo. At some point during the service, the entire crowd gathered at the temple suddenly fell asleep. After Atia awoke from her unexplained slumber and returned home, she discovered a peculiar mark on her body. As the mysterious mark was in the shape of a serpent, an unnerving story emerged that the god Apollo, disguised as a snake, had forced everyone in the temple to fall asleep so that he could have his way with Atia. After Apollo left the scene, no sign remained of his presence except for the snake mark he left on Atia's body, which she discovered later that night. According to Suetonius, Atia gave birth to Augustus 9 months after this incident supposedly occurred. So let's take a look at who Apollo is. So on the surface, when we hear the name Apollo, we tend to think of either the Roman or Greek god. And so who was Apollo according to that? Apollo is one of the Olympian deities in classical Greek and Roman religion and Greek and Roman mythology. Apollo has been recognized as a god of archery, music and dance, truth and prophecy, healing and diseases, the sun and light, poetry, and more. One of the most important and complex of the Greek gods, he is the son of Zeus and Leto and the twin brother of Artemis, goddess of the hunt. He is considered to be the most beautiful god. What does that sound like? Very often people say that Lucifer was the most beautiful angel. I don't know that it actually says that in the Bible, but Christian tradition tells us that Lucifer was the most beautiful angel. Okay? He is considered to be the most beautiful god and is represented as the ideal of the Choros, a Phoebe, or a beardless athletic youth. Apollo is known in Greek-influenced Etruscan mythology as Apullu. Okay, so and then here again, he's the god of sun and light, and the name Lucifer means light bearer. So we have the most beautiful god, and then we have he is the god of light, and so you start to wonder, is could he possibly be Satan? Well, if we look here at Revelation 9:11, we will read this one here. It says, "They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. His name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he is called Apollyon." So in Revelation 9:11, he is called Apollyon, but make no mistake, this is Apollo, and he is called an angel. So the question that I had in my mind about whether if it would be possible that Augustus Caesar really was fathered by this creature, whether he was actually a Nephilim or a watcher. And it seems he's called an angel here, so it would be a fallen angel then, not the Nephilim, but the actual fallen angel. So there's just a bit of commentary on this here, and that I thought was interesting. Demons as fallen angels, I'm going to say right out, I do not agree that demons are fallen angels. The book of Enoch tells us exactly what demons are. They are the disembodied spirits of the dead Nephilim, the ones who died in the flood. So fallen angels, they are demonic, they are evil, they are Satan's angels, but they are not specifically demons. But anyway, I'm just going to continue reading. So demons, as fallen angels, are presumed to have ranks in the same way as loyal angels. Satan, sometimes referred to as Lucifer, once held a position near God's throne, but he tried to usurp God's throne and consequently lost his privileged position. Since his rebellion, he has been called the prince of the power of the air, and that's from Ephesians 2:2. It says, in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience. In Revelation 9:11, we learn about another high-ranking fallen angel. He is called Abaddon in Hebrew, literally meaning destruction, and Apollyon in Greek, literally meaning one who destroys. So according to this commentary, Apollo is not specifically Lucifer, but is another high-ranking fallen angel. And I do know that there are others who believe that Apollo could be Lucifer. And, that's neither here nor there. The point is that he's a bad guy. Both names can be summarized as meaning destroyer. He is the angel of the bottomless pit and is king of the demonic locusts. So, what I find really interesting about that is that he is the angel of the bottomless pit and king of the demonic locusts. It makes me think of the whole idea that we've been learning about the possibility that the tribulation and everything already happened around, in around 66 AD to 70 AD, maybe a little bit before that, and during the fall of Jerusalem and much destruction in Rome and the Caesars at the time, specifically Nero Caesar, but I believe also Tiberius and I still don't know off the top of my head. But the Caesars were considered to be, if not the Antichrist, they were considered to be the beast or one of the beasts. So again, I know that Augustus Caesar, he was, I think it said 43 BC. Let me see if it says that here. 42. So 42. Oh, well, that was when, hold on, let me see. I don't think it says here. Let's go look that up. Okay, so here it tells us that he was the first Roman emperor from 27 BC until his death in AD 14. So that was actually very close then. I'm just going to click on this. Julius Caesar Augustus. The Caesars are so confusing. I can never tell if, okay, it's eternal great uncle. Okay, so their names are so similar, you're like, hold on a second. Okay, but it does tell us here that he was born in 63 BC and died in 19 AD. So anyway, I find it very interesting that the linkage between the Caesars with the Antichrist, with the beasts, and then here we have Augustus Caesar, rumored to be the son of Apollo, and he impregnated his mother in the form of a serpent, which also gives you pause. And you have to think, okay, this was either Lucifer or it was another very bad angel, a high-ranking fallen angel. And we have, just everything that seems to be connecting right there. And this is just a statue of Augustus Caesar here. But another thing that's interesting that I was reading is that Alexander the Great was rumored to have been the son of Zeus. So again, this isn't something that was rare. You will find in these royal lineages that these people are claiming to be the descendants of the gods. And so with the way that things work in this world and all of the things that are being uncovered, you have to stop and think to yourself, were they just rumors or could they have been true? That's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one either here or over on Instagram. And if you like my work and would like to check out my YouTube membership, I will leave a link in the description box, or you can just click on it on my channel page. And I hope you have a great day.